Yeah,
Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. My name is Fergus. I'm your host. I'm joined tonight with Dale and Gunnar Hilsey. We will be looking back over a long week of football, including a trip to Prague for Trevor and a trip to Sunderland for a lot of us others. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome yet again to Monday night here on Guns and Yellow Ribbons. We didn't do Friday, Trevor, because you were knackered after your trip to Prague, and you weren't available either because you had your procedure, Dale. So it was a Friday off for me. It was quite nice. How you doing, Trev?
Piero Incapie, the Arsenal get excited when we see you play. Strange how this feeling grows more and more, because we've never had a player from Ecuador. I've not slept all week.
I had to do the whoop at the end because that's what you done on the voicemail on the WhatsApp group. Nancy piped up at the very end.
Yeah, she was barking. I've not slept all week because every time I fall asleep, that bloody song comes into my head. But I've had the most amazing week following our great football club. You know, we had a game in Burnley. We had a lovely trip to one of the most beautiful cities in Prague. And then we came back and we went up to Sunderland. And although I'm not overly keen on the stadium, or some parts of the stadium, you know, they're a great bunch up there, the Sunderland fans. Made us very welcome. And it's been a great week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a week off now, though, Ferg.
Yeah, no, international break couldn't have come at a better time. It come a good time for you because you can't really travel that much at the moment because your procedure, Dale. So, yeah, you're just hoping to be good for the Tottenham game in a couple of weeks.
Fingers crossed, mate. But I made it to the pub yesterday for my birthday, though. So that's as far as I need to go at a minute. As long as I don't need to go any further. So fingers crossed, I'll be there for Tottenham. Fingers crossed.
Right. So as everybody knows, Trevor's lost a pound or two. And on Twitter, there was some pictures about him standing there and they're saying if his tattoo had transformed. Trevor, this was after a couple of whiskeys in Prague, wasn't it? The shirt had to come off.
Yeah, look, right. I've been told that you can have 10 whiskey and Diet Cokes, and that's the same amount of sugar as a pint of beer, you know. So I decided to have the whiskey and Diet Cokes. I hadn't drunk for months. They went to me head a bit. Yeah, and we were singing North London Forever, and the shirt come off, and that's it. Yeah, and look, and anybody that was worried about my tattoo, your worries can end. Thank you for your concern.
Thank you for your concern. But let's briefly look at Prague because you did quite a lot in Prague. But we look at the game itself. We had a lineup was quite unchanged. Raya Timber-Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié, Piero Hincapié, Rice, Norgard, Wanyeri, Saka, Trossard, and Marino. It ended up 3-0. First half performance was okay, Trevor.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Ferg, I was not concerned from the kickoff till the end. We were the better side. Arteta had gone strong as I hoped and sort of knew he would. Yeah, so it was a great trip with good football. Oh, for years and years and years, haven't we? You know, before the last couple of years, I used to say the same thing. Great European trip, only ruined by the football. Great European trip, only ruined by the football. Well, things have changed because it was a great European trip, made even better by a great performance by the Arsenal. Home and dry. And Ferg, for the first time since I can remember, they didn't keep us in after the game. Straight out onto the Prague streets. They must have heard that us Arsenal fans are harmless. I was back in the town centre before that stadium had emptied, mate.
Yeah, but listen, it was a history-making game. We won't go into the game in detail as well because it's almost a week ago, but goals from Saka from penalty and two from Marino. Marino was put up top, and Marino played a blinder. Both his goals were really good number nines type goals. The flick on from the cross from Trossard, and the other one was that from? I'm trying to remember the other one. Was that? Oh, that was a ball in from Rice, and he headed the ball backwards. Great, Del. Weren't they great number 9 top striker goals?
Yeah, there's a reason I think he's top goal scorer in the European Championship qualifiers, the World Cup qualifiers, whatever it is as well. He's got something like 7 in 9 for Spain. We know he can do it. He's done it for us on multiple occasions. I think that was the perfect game for him as well to be doing it, because let's face it, they're not. I mean, the reality is Prague. They're yes, it's a Champions League game, but they're not what you'd call top opposition, are they? And I think a lot of Premier League teams, in all honesty, would beat them. So I think it was a good game to bed Marino in.
Yeah.
Good.
I was slightly differently now. I thought Slavia Prague were a superb side, and it took a really great Premier League team to beat them. You know, a top form Premier League team to beat Slavia Prague. No, I'm only kidding. They weren't the best opposition, but they're opposition that we've, I think they're top of their league at the moment. I know it's not the best league, the Czech league, but they have to be beaten in their own stadium. The home fans were superb, absolutely superb. They had that tifo up for about 5 minutes. Just held it up there. But what I must say though, as much as the home fans were superb, the Arsenal away support was magic. The AA got their drummer in there. There was only a few of them, but they just kept it going all through the game. Yeah, the away support was off the scale. Absolutely proud of every one of them.
I said to you in the car on the way up, I think I was talking to Dan. I asked both of you how the away end was, and you said it was the best away end you've ever been in. And it's quite strange when you watch it on TV. You couldn't hear the Arsenal boys hugely in the first half, but in the second half, you became louder. And that's just the manipulation by the director on the TV adjusting the sound. But you said it started at the beginning of the game and did not stop.
I wouldn't say it was the best away end I've ever been in. I said it was a very good away end, the best I've been in for a while. I'm an old man, Ferg. I've got some long ago memories, mate. But yeah, I don't know why he didn't pick it up in the first half, because we were loud first half, we were loud second half. Maybe at half time the microphone changed ends and come down here, and I don't know, But it was just perfect, just a perfect night, a 3-0 win, a great city, a cheap city. As long as if you came out of the city a little bit, like we were drinking a lovely pint of Czech lager for less than £1.50 a pint, So
yeah, it is. Yeah. I bet I've been there myself with the wife, and got bloody cold. It was February, -12, but absolutely gorgeous, and up by the castle as well. It's a lovely city, a lot to offer for it. And listen, we made history from before you even went to football, Trevor, on 2 occasions. So the first one is more than 55 years, when Leeds were the last English side not to concede a goal in their opening 4 games in the European Cup campaign under Don Levy, and that was in the 69-70 campaign, just when you were starting to go and watch the Arsenal. And the Arsenal have made 8 successive clean sheets in all competitions for the first time since 1903. And I don't think you were going then. We were in the 2nd division then, Trev.
What am I meant to say to that? Am I meant to laugh? Is that meant to be funny?
Yeah. Dale's laughing.
Yeah. I couldn't give a shit about 1903.
Oh dear.
10 years before we even moved to the famous Highbury. I'm going to Highbury next weekend, by the way.
Yeah, Fleetwood.
Yeah, I'm going to Fleetwood this weekend to watch a game. Got to watch a game of football on a Saturday, mate. So I thought I'd go to Fleetwood.
I know you didn't get to see all the game the other night, Dale, but Max Dowman became the youngest player in the Champions League history at 15 years, 308 days, and was brought on to replace Trossard again, who had an excellent game. And we'll talk a lot about Trossard in a few minutes.
Yeah, I was on the train home from work. I actually left work early to get home, and my bloody train broke down on the way home. And it broke down somewhere where I had no signal, so I couldn't even get on my phone. I got home for the last 10 minutes, but obviously I've watched it back. Dowman is a very, very exciting prospect, and we've been saying quite a bit about managing his time, managing his minutes, and that, which we still stand by. But he also needs that experience of playing in those big European away games. It matures him so much quicker. And from when he was on the ball, he didn't look like a kid. He didn't look like a 15-year-old kid. The way he moves, he deserves everything he's getting. He really is a wonderful talent. I remember Saka. Someone said a while. There was about 2 years ago when someone said about Saka about Hale End, and he said, "People talk about me." He said, "You wait till you see young Max." That was 2 years ago. Al Saka saying that.
It's funny.
I don't recall that.
We've got a 15-year-old playing for us, and I'm on a podcast every week with a bloke with a 15-year-old's mentality. You can't win, can you? You can't win. Do you know what, that comment there, Ferg, from Simon? Simon, do you know what? I don't care if the clean sheet's over or not, mate. I genuinely don't. But I wish that Sunderland had only got 1 goal to end the clean sheet at the weekend, not the 2, because we wanted to keep winning, didn't we? But we move on. We'll talk about Sunderland shortly, I dare say.
Yeah, we will do. But before we do, you spent a couple of extra days in Prague, and you went to see Prague Bohemians 1905. Talk to us about that. You met up with Laith and Dan, and there was a few of you that went on the Thursday.
Yeah, it's I've got the Footballogy app on my phone, and that tells you fixtures everywhere. And our game was on the Tuesday, and we weren't coming home till the Thursday. So it said to me, Bohemians are playing 2 miles up the road, and believe it or not, they're a top division side in the Czech Republic. They're about mid-table. So they get Slavia and Sparta to go and play there. But the ground only holds 5,000 or 6,000. And we were made very, very welcome. It was a lovely little ground. It was a cup game, so it was freezing cold. We could have done without the extra time and penalties. But Bohemians lost on penalties in the end, which the crowd weren't very happy about. But yeah, it was a great night. I enjoyed going there. You could have a beer at your seat in the ground, which was very nice. And we also, about 50 yards up from the ground, there was a little bar. I bet you couldn't fit more than about 12 people in the bar. And Dan and myself and Laith and Andre, we all went in there and chatted Arsenal for an hour before the game. So it was a great evening, all in all. Really pleased we went, to be honest.
But isn't that just typical of, well, it's typical of your type of away day, European away day, because you and Dan make more of a trip, and I know when I've gone on a few of them with you, make more of a trip of it than just in and out on the chartered plane with the club. And, it's an experience to see these cities. Like, I know I take the mick, but your trip to Ukraine when you saw Saka play for his first game has got a great story behind it as well. And that's what these European trips are meant to do, create great memories with your mates.
Yeah. Oh, of course they are. Yeah. It's that's why we go. And I mean, it's nice now the football is better, but you go for the social, you go with your mates, and yeah, well, certainly it was a trip to remember. It really was. I would highly recommend to anyone thinking of taking their missus somewhere for a long weekend or something. Prague for me. I've been to Prague before, but I've always been drunk, so this was the first time I'd really seen it properly. And it was lovely. I'm already looking at flights to take my wonderful wife Donna there for a long weekend.
It gets bloody hot in the summer, Trevor. It really gets hot in the summer.
Yeah,
because it's landlocked as well. Listen, we talked about socials and away days. We done the away day, quite a few of us. It was a big bunch of us from the Dad Burton Army that went up to Sunderland. I think a good 40-50% of us. And we met up in a bar in Newcastle. It was a really good laugh. You were on the whiskies, and the whiskies were going down well, and even jugs of cocktails, but pints of Guinness. And Jesus, did you see some of those pints? Some of them were dreadful. One at the head, like nearly a third of the way down. It was absolutely shocking.
No, didn't look, to be honest.
Yeah, it's all about your whiskey. But it was actually quite good. There was a few Tottenham fans in there, and yeah, I know Dale, he's hard work. It is so bloody hard work.
I think it's brilliant.
What? You asked me about a pint of Guinness. I didn't look at a pint of Guinness, mainly because I was drinking whiskey. What do you want me to do? Say it was like nectar and I was watching Fergus drink it and blah, blah,
no,
blah.
You were enjoying your whiskey. No, it was poured badly. Right, move on. We met in the pub. There was a few Spurs fans in there. It was mostly Arsenal that were in the pub. And there was a lot of middle-aged ladies out for the night. And they were already dolled up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon for birthday parties and all-night sessions. And we did see the aftermath of some of them later that night in Newcastle. God, it's a city and a half.
That there before you go down a channel.
I'm not going down that. I'm definitely not going down that channel because that will make people's toes curl.
What I will say is there was some rain in Newcastle Saturday nights.
Don't remind me.
No more. I'm not saying anymore.
But Spurs got 2-1 up in the like dying minutes of the game. Richarlison takes off his shirt. He gets a yellow card, and 2 minutes later he's crying because they've lost 2-2. They've drawn 2-2. The pub went mad, and the songs cracked off from there, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
When will he learn?
Oh, sorry, Dal. Carry on, Dal. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just going to say Richarlison. When will he learn? He's done that 2 or 3 times now, hasn't he? Gets booked every single time, and it comes back to bite him in the arse. He's
dreadful. We left Newcastle and we got out to the Sheep's Fold, which was really nice. It was a nice area by that. I know you didn't stay long because you went and done your video in the stadium. It was a proper setup outside the Stadium of Light, wasn't it, Trevor?
Yeah, it was. Ferg, don't read this comment. Don't read this comment, Ferg. Right. Don't read it.
Listen, anybody on audio, you just missed out a big clue what went on.
Well, by the way, Ronnie, we have seen your question, mate. We're going to come back to you at the end. We've starred you because you're a star now.
Yeah, and you can keep your coat for now.
Wasn't it a lovely setup outside the ground before the game? There's 4 or 5 bars all in that big courtyard, and wasn't too long getting served, and everybody was very sociable. And a Sunderland fan, actually, I was sat talking to a Sunderland fan. He was with his missus and young lad, and he said, out of everyone, he'd rather us win the league. So thank you for that comment, and thank you to all the Sunderland fans that made us welcome. I put a post on social media the day after the game, Ferg, saying that the bad thing about the trip to Sunderland was the result. The rest of it was fine, and I hope they do all right this season. And I genuinely do, to be honest.
I genuinely think, I don't know what you two guys think, but I genuinely think Sunderland were the first team this season to give us a proper game. Liverpool played a game of chess against us to a certain degree, and they nicked it with a wonder goal, and that sort of game was just gone into a stalemate. Man City turned up at the Emirates, but they didn't turn up at the Emirates. Stoke City turned up at the Emirates and flummoxed us for 45 minutes, and we came out and eventually we got a point out of that. But I honestly do think, Hara's in the house. I honestly do think that that's thrown me again. Cheers, Heath. I honestly do think that Sunderland genuinely came to give us a game of football, Dale.
Yeah, 100%. And just to go back on something Trev said actually a minute ago about social media, Sunderland fans have been quite complimentary about the Arsenal fans. Normally you get a lot of banter between the two, but they genuinely seemed very happy and very welcoming and very complimentary about the away support as well on social media, saying how good the support was, the away fans were. But yeah, I think I spoke to you in the car with Dan on the way back, and I said at the time, I was like, people look at it normally like if you're a newly promoted team, a Burnley, a Sunderland, a Leeds, people call it a free hit, right? It's a proverbial free hit. So whatever happens. But they weren't happy with that. They were like, no, we're at home. We haven't lost there in God knows how long. This is our home. We're going to give this a go. And didn't they just do that? Didn't they just?
Yeah. Before we go into the details of the game, I think we should take a moment and just talk about the remembrance display that they'd done because it was the closest game to was Remembrance Saturday for them Sunday. But the display in the Tifo right around the stadium was absolutely brilliant. And Trevor, you couldn't hear a pin drop. 45,000 people in there. You couldn't hear a pin drop.
They had 5 or 6 people playing the last post, and it was loud, and it was just played along with total silence. You're right, Ferg, and just as it should be, Ferg, because whatever your feelings are about soldiers and war and whatever, we're remembering people that died, right? And leave it at that. If you get that in your head, 300 and however many odd thousand people died in the Second World War, and many more thousands since in wars all over the world. And we've got a right to remember that without being called out by anybody saying anything, right? Most of us in this UK lost relatives or distant relatives in the 2 wars, right? And we've got every right to remember them. And I will always remember them. And I don't care how much it may upset people or may say it's past it or whatever. It's not. Never will be. Never will be.
I'll just put my 6 pence in. I agree exactly what you said on there. And I also would like to say Celtic, some Celtic fans need to give their head a wobble, because I think that's just it's poor taste to boo. And I'll leave it at that.
You should.
Yeah.
It's not just Celtic keeper, is it?
No, it's not. There are. But listen,
Yeah,
just leave it there. Just leave it there.
Let's get back to the game.
Get back to the game. The concourse at the stadium, like the stadium of stairs, as I've called this, concourse is dreadful. I think it's dangerous getting up there. Myself and Andrew on the way up the stairs helped a man in his probably 60s or so. I don't know if he had a heart attack or whatever, but his legs went right from underneath him because you can up all those bloody stairs. There was no access in a lift or anything like that. At least Newcastle give you a lift, but that bar area as well, halfway up, it's low ceilings, hot packed. Service is quick enough, but it's just not fit for purpose. And they shouldn't be putting fans up on the goals like that, Trev.
You see, it depends on the type of person you are, you know. If you're a fit person like me that doesn't look his age and can fly upstairs, then it's fine. You know what I mean? I quite enjoyed the workout. Other people, I know they'll struggle. I didn't realise there was no lift. That is very, very poor.
Well, I didn't see a lift.
That is very poor. But as you say, right, you're going to start me off now, because that was one of the things I don't like about the stadium, right, is that Sunderland are doing what Newcastle and Manchester United do, and moving fans to the upper tier, right, the away fans. And it doesn't give us an opportunity to influence the game properly. I honestly think that we've played games at Newcastle and even the game at Sunderland on Saturday, excuse me. If we'd have had 3,000 fans beside the field, visible to the players, being heard a lot more, we could have even influenced the game. You know what I mean? And the way I would fix it, because Sunderland and Man United and particularly Newcastle are obviously not going to adhere to the rules and regulations. So the Premier League or the FA or wherever it is should say, okay, Newcastle fans, if you want to put the away fans up the top, Newcastle, they've got to have double their quota. They've got to have 6,000 seats instead of 3,000. You're going to double it and punish them that way. And if it started costing them more and more money on a continuous basis, then they might change something. There you go. The stadium does just have lifts, because Adam has Googled it. There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
So you were wrong, Fergus.
Yeah, I didn't see any lift, and I didn't see the stewards offering to say like disabled access this way or anything like that. You know, it's quite clear at St James's Park. Very, very clear, actually. Again, a shit stadium for away fans, but it is quite clear. So let's look at the lineup. The lineup was as expected. Marino up top. We didn't have many options. So we had Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Rice, Supermendi, Eze, Saka, Trossard, and Marino. The bench, I can't really see it on there properly, but the bench didn't give us a huge amount of outlet. Dale, there's not much he could have done because we had no Gyökeres.
The starting lineup, you're right, there wasn't much we could have done, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought we put the strongest team out we could have done from the starting lineup. We've been talking about the depth we've had over the last few weeks and all this season, to be honest with you. But we've just been really bloody unlucky in that all of our injuries are all in the attacking area. Defensively, we've got options coming out of our ears, but going forward, we're very, very light. So, I mean, it's with the squad we had, that's probably the best you could have done, especially with the 2 goals Marino got midweek. I mean, we'll come on to substitutions and stuff later, but I couldn't fault the starting lineup in the slightest.
Yeah.
Trev, without Victor Gyökeres, it created a problem that we had fixed a little bit, where people doubling up on Saka and giving the room for Saka to operate. And I know Victor Gyökeres has come into not criticism, but some people have questioned a little bit of his ability. You know, saying there's other options that might have been better out there, and you know, he's not the top striker. But we definitely noticed not having him, didn't we?
Look, I've not got a word in for about 15 minutes with you two, right? So I've got about 15 points written down here.
I've got them all down here.
But when I'm allowed to talk, I'll talk. It's nothing to do. It's what you've been talking about, right? I'll come back to Gyökeres because there's so many interesting points coming out of this game, right? That you can make a really valid case for going two ways about. It's been a really taking the rancid Liverpool fans out of social media. The actual chat about the game between Arsenal fans and Sunderland fans, I found has been really interesting. Like you boys just said, right? You boys just said that Sunderland gave us a game, played to give us a game, right? Well, I sort of saw it differently, boys. I honestly did. In that they faced off of us first half, faced off of us, right? And they scored a goal, right? And they're playing all right. They're pressuring us. But as soon as they scored the goal, 10 men behind the ball, they dropped immediately into a low block.
Right? They did.
And they came out for the second half and dropped into a low block, right? Saying, come and get us, beat us if you can. And then you tie in another point here because Gyökeres being missing. We suffered, right? But this is the positives you take out of the game. We scored 2 goals against the low block. When did we last do
open
that?
play? In open play as well.
When did we last do that? I can't remember when we last were able to beat the low block so well. And then, of course, once we scored a second, Sunderland have got to come out and play again. But we're being denied chances because we've not got Gyökeres harassing and bullying and causing the defence to be moved around, right? Give me one more second and I'll leave it to you guys, right? Marino is a fine player. Scored 2 goals in Prague against European opposition, right? Okay. Come back to the Premier League and Marino is still trying to put himself about, but he doesn't have the qualities up front of Gyökeres, right? Doesn't have it. And I honestly think that with Gyökeres playing, we probably win that game. You can't say definitely. We probably win that game. I'm going to leave it to you, boys, but I've got a comment from Ronnie about substitutions. When you boys have thought about that, we've got to talk about the substitution, boys.
Oh, that's definitely on the list. Definitely on the list. But that's into the second half. We're just finishing off in the first half, sort of thing. But did you want to come back on that one?
Yeah, just on that point there. You said, Trev, you mentioned that they as soon as they went 1-up, they put that low block in. Watch it back, mate. That low block was there from the very first minute. I commented on it about 5 minutes into the game and just saying when we had the ball, they had 10 minimum behind the ball every single time when we had the ball. They made a conscious effort to do so. It was only when they were attacking, they pushed out. But that low block was in place from the very, very first minute. Every time we got the ball, they just kind of shifted back.
So if you're saying they were low block from the start, how can you say they came to give us a game?
Because what I said was that low block was there from the start. But they almost played like two, we'll call it an attack and a defensive strategy. What they did was when we had the ball, they got everybody behind it. That's what, and they doubled up on both wings. If you watch that back line, it kind of rolled across. But then when they had the ball, they pushed forward as a unit together, and they did try and attack us. But then as soon as they lost the ball again, they reverted back to that 10 behind the ball. And interestingly, the one they were leaving a bit higher at the pitch wasn't always at the centre forward. Granit Xhaka was playing a little bit higher in that low block than what a lot of people were.
Granit Xhaka played in almost the same role as Rice played in the midfield, that box-to-box role. And I think him and Rice had just a massive tussle. I thought Rice, for me, was absolutely immense in the game. Man of the match, closely followed by Trossard as well, because me and Dan were watching the game together, and we'll talk on Trossard in a second. But Dan Ballard's goal, ex-Arsenal player, 10, 12 years with Arsenal as a boy and young man, he took his goal well. But was it the ball got over Rice a little? Or did Rice, Trev, could Rice have done a little bit better not to get him onto that ball?
Look, right. If we're going to blame Rice for anything,
I'm not blaming.
We need to join that mob on social media that are calling for it for heads because we dropped a point away at Sunderland. Rice was superb, and he would have tried 100% to get to that ball. Right, the one that concerns me more, doesn't concern me. The one that is easier to apportion blame is the second goal,
which we'll do. Yeah.
which we'll do, But there's a few comments saying about our attack didn't look the same. We had little options. Of course, it didn't look the same. Of course, we had little options. We've got 6 forward players injured. Give us a break,
Guys, take that away. We had chances.
Look, right.
We had chances.
What do you mean? Where's that? What?
No, people saying our attack didn't look like we didn't look very good going forward, and our attack's a bit weaker and stuff. We had so many chances in that game, which we.
I think in the first half that people have got a point, because I think we're poor in that first half.
Our attack was fine. Dale's right. Our attack was fine.
There's nothing wrong with the attack. There's
But
nothing.
we didn't have the options to bring on to spice it up, and we didn't have Gyökeres on the field from the start. The interesting point, right, which there's a few people talking about, Ferg, coming on this, mate, because you can make an argument for both sides, right? Oh, are we there? Are we at the substitution yet, Ferg? Or you got other
no, because we haven't even done Trossard and his goal. Well, the Saka scores in 52 minutes, which was a great goal. I missed it because I'd gone for a pee, but I got manhandled underneath the TV screens in on that mid-small concourse. And then Trossard was creating the spaces, and Dan kept on pointing out he's come up, he's slowing down, he's waiting for the follow-up, and the defenders didn't know how to deal with him. And Trossard's second goal, the second goal that Trossard scored, nobody stopped on that. 2 great goals. And then we get to the point of 80 minutes into the game. So there's 52 and 76, I think, were the goals. 80 minutes into the game, Rice, for me, is starting to look a bit tired, because he did give everything. He was up and down the pitch. And this isn't a criticism. It's just how I saw it. And then I was looking, and I said to Dan, we haven't made any subs. Are we going to play the whole game then with that 9? I said, I suppose we don't really have that many options. He takes Eze off, who, for me, I don't think had a fantastic game. Well, he had a quieter game than he's had earlier in the season. But instead of putting on Wanyeri, or maybe taking Califuori off and putting Maitland-Niles on, he took off Eze, and then put on Mascara, as people will say, I'll say. But they put him on and went to a 5 at the back. Now, for me, I don't criticise Arteta often, but the times I do criticise Arteta are always around some of his substitutions and his tactics around substitutes. He'd done it against Liverpool when he left the substitutions too late, and Slot brought his substitutions on. I didn't say Maitland-Niles, did I? I meant Miles Lewis-Skelly. Jesus, sorry, Simon. But I'm getting excited here. But no, I just find his substitutions on occasions, I just don't understand them. And I didn't understand that substitution. And I think we invited more pressure on top of ourselves and made a tired team work even harder against a team who I believe have the best post 90-minute scoring record in the league. Trev?
Right. Put yourself in Arteta's shoes, right? You stood on that touchline. There's 5 minutes to go. We're dropping deep. We're deep in our own half, which was annoying, right? Because I don't think we've seen the best of Eze yet. He's not playing bad, but he ain't absolutely knocking our socks off, So I think that it was the right substitution to make. So Arteta's got to make a call, right? He either brings one of Lewis Skelly, Nwaneri, or Dalman on, or he takes Eze off and brings a defender on and says, can we last 5 minutes sitting deep?
It wasn't 5 minutes, though. It was 15. He brought him on in the 75th minute.
Okay, 15 then. Picky fucker.
It makes a big difference because it's a long time. It's a long time to invite pressure on yourself.
Well, no, it's not. Because what did he do when we were down to 10 men last season at Manchester City? He went 45 minutes deep and we nearly hung in.
Yeah,
right.
Nearly. Again, it's the fine margins, isn't it? Nearly.
The fine margin is. Are you saying that you would have bought the attacking player on for Eze?
100%. They started coming at us.
It was 88 minutes that we put Mascara on. It was 88 minutes. So 2 minutes of added time, 2 minutes of full time, and then it ended up being 7 or 8 minutes of added time. So it might have been 15 minutes in total, but it was 2 minutes left in the game. There.
He didn't bring Mosquera on with 15 minutes to go. I didn't think he did anyway.
It was 88 minutes. I've just checked.
He played 15 minutes. Yeah. So you're right. Yeah. So we wouldn't have known that at the time. But I just think though, making that change defensively there when you are at the time, the second half, we controlled that game in my opinion. We had our chances. We had because I'm trying to think what chances we had. That was the first half. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. I think bringing that defensive change on invited them to attack us. They had the Stadium of Light wasn't quiet all day. It wasn't quiet for the whole thing. You'd have known that better than anybody else because you guys were there, right? The crowd were getting behind them, and when you made that defensive change, I don't think there was a need for a defensive change. I just think because what that did, that made us purposely sit a lot more. We had to sit deeper because we had more defenders on than we had anything else. We lost that shape in midfield, which allowed them to attack us and press us. I just think it was a wrong move. I really do. I wouldn't have brought on a defensive player.
You see, that just goes to show what a position Arteta was in, because I'm not going to knock him for making a substitution that didn't come off. You know, I always agree with people about bringing an outlet player on, and I would have had no complaints about I would have hoped for Lewis Skelly to come on, to be honest, to play in the middle of the park. But he made a decision and it didn't come off. But I'm not going to call him out for that. It wasn't the wrong decision in a complete meaning of the word. It was the wrong decision on the day, but it was a decision, if we'd have held out, we'd have loved. It was a great decision. So I feel for Arteta.
This is a good summation of it, Dan. I'm giving you a compliment, mate. Tactically, when a team plays long balls and commits players into the box, at the end, you have to have the extra man to deal with the balls. The tactics weren't the issue; it was the execution and a deflection. We'll talk about the goal shortly, but it was the execution what was done. I think that it is a good explanation, but I still do think that some players were out on their ass. They were blowing and looking tired and had done a lot of work, and we could have made a few more changes sooner. But you know, that's me. We still were 2-1 up at that stage. Let's talk about the goal. So we have this situation here with the goal. So you've got the Sunderland player, I can't remember his name, coming in. You've got Gabby jumping across to try and head the ball clear, and you've got David Raya coming out to try and catch the ball. Now, I'm no footballer. I don't claim to know very much at all, but I've always known that when a keeper's coming for a ball, he shouts "keeper's ball," or the defender goes, "I've got it." There was some lack of communication somewhere, Trev.
Yeah. Or a lack of practice, because we ain't let one in for so long.
That's true. Maybe he just came in from his home office.
I'm finding it. We've not been critical, but we've not been very positive for the last 5 minutes or so on this podcast now. We have to put a bit of perspective on the fact that the first goals we've let in 8 games, 9 games, however many games.
It was the 9th game for somebody to score a goal against us. Yeah.
So we've not let a goal in for 9 games. We're winning 2-1. Arteta probably thought he was playing the odds game. He probably thought it was better odds to go with a defensive substitution because we ain't let a goal in for months. As for that goal, yeah, you can say that Raya should have stayed on his line. I thought at the time Raya should have stayed on his line really there, and I haven't changed my view of that. But it is what it is. Let's say Raya made an error. If he only makes that one error once every 10 games, then we're probably all right. We're probably all right with our goalkeeper. So I don't want to be sounding negative anymore about getting the draw away at Sunderland, because I think many teams will go to Sunderland and not get a thing.
You said that in the morning, didn't you? You came along and said there's going to be a lot of teams that go there. My only thing, I was speaking to Mem, who's in the chat, MI Prestige. I was speaking to Mem today, and I said it depends on when Liverpool and Man City go up there, because I do see they could drop points. But if it's from middle of December to the middle of January, Sunderland are the club that have been most affected by the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations. I think they lose up to 10 players out of their squad. We don't lose anybody, thankfully, but I'm hoping that they've got a fully fit squad to face the top boys, so that they do drop points there as well. Listen, I think on the grand scheme of things, the bubble had to burst at some time. It didn't burst completely. We got a point away from home. A point away from home is generally really considered a good result. Sunderland away has never been an easy place to go to, and I think it's a point gained. It could have been better, but I do think it's a point gained rather than 2 points dropped. Dale, point gained?
Got to disagree, mate. Got to disagree. I think from that position, I think it's got to be seen as 2 dropped. I really do. I mean, again, I'm not going to pick out Raya. Yeah, he's made an error. So what? He made some great saves earlier in the game. What stopped them scoring? So it levels itself out, right? I do from that position see it as 2 points dropped. I don't see how it can be 2 points dropped. How it can't be anything but that. Before the game, if you'd have asked any Sunderland fan, they'd have took a draw. But if you'd have asked any Arsenal fan, we were confident we could go there and win. We knew it'd be tough, but most people were still confident we can go there and get a result. So I can't see how it's anything but 2 points dropped when you're 2-1 up.
Trev, I went there expecting it to be 2-1 Arsenal, but I still think it's a point gained. You?
It felt like a loss because of this time of that Sunderland got the equaliser.
Absolutely.
We're all demoralised, and as for whether it's 2 points lost or a point gained, I'm going to sit on the fence on that. I really do, and because even after Sunderland scored, we could have won it. They got lucky. Ballard, by the way, lots of Ballard mentions in the comments. Credit where it's due. The young kid playing against his old team. It's a big lump now, and he oozes confidence. And he had a pretty good game, in fairness. I would have liked to see him up against Gyökeres. I think there's a different story in there behind
massively.
But I think that he had a decent game. But when I came out of the ground afterwards, it felt like a loss. And just this comment here, Simon, you should know better than that. You should know better than that, Simon. It's far too early in the season to even think about.
The only thing I'd say about Simon's comment is looking at Man City and Liverpool yesterday. Liverpool are not in this race. I don't believe at all. They've lost 5 games, and a fact as well, which I didn't realise, is they've actually lost 15 games this calendar year. Liverpool have. So I know I was speaking to a colleague of mine. He's a Liverpool fan, and he was the one who told me that we've lost 15 games this calendar year. When they felt that the league was more or less done, Arne Slot started tinkering with the team and putting his tactics in, and this is the result we've got. I did think City looked way better than Liverpool last night, but I still think City are gettable. They are our biggest competition, but I still think they're gettable, Trev.
Yeah. Do you know what, right? Do you know what? I've forgotten what I was going to talk about. That's old age for you. You know what I mean? What were we talking about then?
Simon's comment about is a 2-horse race, and then
listen, right? This is a fact, right? I had a look at it today, right? Liverpool won their first 5 games by scoring lucky goals in most of them, right in the closing minutes, right? If their luck had been slightly different, if there's some buts, but I'm saying this because Liverpool fans would say it about us. Liverpool want to think themselves very lucky they're not in a relegation battle right now, let me tell you, because their form since they got lucky has been bottom 3 form. And nothing gives me greater pleasure, to be honest, because their fans, what they say online and social media is vile. Vile. Not all of them, but a lot of them is vile.
Dale, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, something we haven't really touched upon, and worth a mention because it's been getting quite a bit of traction on social media. Penalty or not? Arsenal should have had a penalty. The elbow.
I think
it's not been mentioned.
I think not, because I think it's Ballard as well. He's that fake, like, whatever you have to reach onto to try to lift your body up. And I think that's what he's trying to do. And I don't think there's any intention in it. It was a nasty tackle, but I don't think it was intended to hurt. And I don't think it was a foul.
Trev?
if Liverpool had that turn down, they'd have been right into the PGMOL today. No, it wasn't a penalty. It wasn't a penny. Very much like the Zubimendi foul that led to their first goal wasn't
Never
a
a
foul,
foul, let alone a booking. He got booked
Never
for
in a
that, you
million
know.
years.
Yellow card.
Yeah.
Never.
It was shocking. Even from being up on the 72nd floor of the tower, I could see that was never a yellow card. Never in a million years.
It was a great challenge. When you see it back time and time again, it's a great challenge. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that why they went on and scored from?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the first goal came from a free kick that the keeper took from near the centre circle, and he lobbed the ball in, which took that nod off Rice and then into Ballard.
Bollard.
And then the second goal, Ballard. No, I've got a head cold, and I always pronounce things fucking wrong anyway, so you know what I'm like. So then we got
a load of bollards.
Fucking hell. I'll tell you what, you guys just give me a hard time every time. You better be my mates and help me out here. You know what I mean?
You stop swearing, please, Fergus.
What's the chat? If you all be just like, oh, Ballard, yeah. I think we touched on it. I think we touched on it recently, but we didn't complete talking about it. Saka and Trossard, because of Gyökeres been missing. You see, I can say Gyökeres, I can't say Ballard. Did you find that they had less space then, Trev? Because I don't think you answered that. You went into something else.
Who had less faith?
Saka and Trossard, because of...
Oh, massively. They were cutting our outlets off. It was... Their defenders weren't occupied down the middle as they normally would be. And that's not a knocking of Marino, who's a fine player. It's a fact. Without that bully boy up front knocking it about, Saka got in and scored a fine goal, by the way. It was a good finish. We've not talked about that enough. But, yeah, and Trossard scored on the other side. So it sounds like I'm talking out my backside, really. But, yeah, they didn't get as much space. They absolutely didn't.
It did. I got your point, because that was one of the comments that you made and Alex made as well to me when they sent through like the summary of what you thought of the game. And I did see it, because you could see there's more fluid movement by some of them. Yeah, I've already put all of those up. You just put them up again just to wind me up even more. Heinz Ballard. So, yeah, if you're going to get it right, Heath, you need to say Heinz Ballard, and then you'll get it, okay?
Tell you what, go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say that. Go on, you say what you're going to say, because I'll
tell you what did make me laugh. The refereeing decision I noticed. They got a free kick deep in their area, and their goalkeeper threw it out, nicked about 20 yards to the edge of the box, and took the free kick. And about 2 minutes later, we had a free kick at the other end, and Ray threw it forward about a yard, and the referee was all over him, stamping on him.
It was Poulton was the referee, wasn't it? Poulton.
I don't know. Don't care.
He wasn't great, was he? I don't think he was great.
I wasn't happy with him. No, I wasn't happy with him. Not at all.
I'm not moaning to say that's the reason why we only got a point, but I didn't think he was the best one. Right, okay. Right, let's move on from the Bollards, will we please? Sunderland fans on the train on the way back. Sunderland fans on the train on the way back. Big Kieran. Somebody tried to shout out, "What do you think of Tottenham?" And Big Kieran piped him down. Said, "No, wait, shh. What do you think of Newcastle?" Well, that lit the Mackhams up. They were fuck the Mags. The train just went absolutely nuts. And then there was the Arsenal fans, all of us, singing our songs. Then they came back, and it was the whole way from the Stadium of Light right through to the Central. It was a good 20 minutes and really, really good fun. And there were such well-spirited as well. And as you said, with some of the comments that we've seen on social media and some of the comments you have said to you in person, and even when we're in Newcastle later that night, there's quite a few Sunderland fans come along and said, "Oh, thanks, you really played a good game. And what did you think of the game?" And, you know, they were magnanimous in their draw, which was, you know, they were bound to be pleased. You know, Christ, best team in the country at the moment, and they get a draw against them.
There's a comment here from Andrew. Andrew, you've nailed it, mate. Trust me, I don't know how it came across on the telly, but I thought that when we went 2-1 up, the noise dropped in the stadium a level or two.
It did a little.
But when they scored their equaliser, it was honestly like they'd won the cup final. And after the game, I mean, they were partying on the pitch. You know, they know that they got a point off an exceptionally good team who don't let goals in easily. And what we've got to do is say, you know, Sunderland haven't been horrible. We've got to give them credit for it. You know, in the end, they drew. Move on. We got a point away at Sunderland. We're still top of the league. These things will happen. We all drop points. You know, I sounds blasé, but it's how I'm seeing it. You know.
The last comment, and probably compliment as well, I'll give to Sunderland and their fans, was the noise that they made were the fans, and they were very, very loud, as you said. There was no fake speakers, no "you'll never walk alone," none of that sort of stuff being pumped out of a PA system to stoke the atmosphere. They didn't need it. They were so up for it. And
even before kickoff, what is Elvis they were singing?
Yeah, The Wonder of You.
Yeah, that was loud.
Yeah.
That came across very, very loud.
Yeah.
When no one else can understand me.
We never can.
In everything I say to you.
Trev,
they sang it after the game as well, Gal.
Trev, who sings that song, though?
Stadium, they did.
Who sings that song?
Elvis.
Yeah, can we keep it that way, please?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Trevor. Thank you very much. Oh. We didn't rehearse any of that either. None of that was rehearsed.
I'm not taking bookings, by the way. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, after the game, they sang it down, and it was loud, and they were celebrating.
Yeah.
They were happy, and it was lovely. Outside afterwards, there was no pressure, no stress. You know, just two sets of football fans have been to watch a game that had turned out to be a pretty good game. We were just disappointed because it felt like a loss, and Sunderland were happy because it felt like a win. You know, that last-minute goal, that's what it does.
Listen, we've done it for the last 51 minutes, and we've been talking. It's good to talk. We do it every week. It's okay to talk. Andy's Man Club is a charity that looks after men's mental health. It's not just there for suicide prevention, but also be there for help people in a crisis. If you want to have a chat because you've got gambling addiction, coffee addiction, or you're at the complete end of your tether, you can reach out to Andy's Man Club. We support them throughout this season, and we'll carry on to support them. I know we put it on normally earlier in the show, but I've just moved it around this time. Trevor, anything to comment on it?
It speaks for itself. You know, speak to someone. We back Andy's Man Club. It doesn't have to be Andy's Man Club. There's a counsellor at Arsenal games before the game now that's available. We're all available if you need a chat. And yeah, do it. Talk. It's hard to do, but it's the thing to do.
Yeah. Next up.
Can I just say, got old Ronnie in the chat here. Ronnie, I don't know if you've been on since the start, mate, but we were talking about Richarlison's 91st minute winner. What a goal that was, by the way. Some celebrations there.
Oops, no, there was an equaliser.
No, that's all right. It was an equaliser.
Yeah.
Ronnie's all right, you know, in fairness. I like good Ronnie when he comes on here because, he's fair enough. He has his comment. He doesn't abuse us, and we don't abuse him.
Well, next up, we've got the international break. Go on, go.
Before we finish the Sunderland game, Rice should have put that lob in. Oh, man, it curled just from 40 yards out when it sort of he's lobbed it. And at first, we were right behind that goal, and it looked like it was going in at first, and then it started curling, and it went just wide. I was like, oh, no, so close.
There were a few. Listen,
the chance we had, Saliba put one over, didn't he? Eze's put one straight at the keeper. The chances were there, gents. They were there.
Yeah. Listen, next up is the international break for effectively 2 weeks. And then we beat Ronnie's team, hopefully. They come to the Emirates. It's a big game for all concerned. Huge day out. We all enjoy it. The North London Derby. What are you shaking your head for?
Because to us, it's just another game, isn't it? So that more down the road, it's their cup final, isn't it?
It is.
You know? You know, that's just the one game they want to win all season. It's all they think of. So, who are they? Who are you, Ronnie? Who are you?
Forever in our shadow, you will be.
Yeah, and do you know what? Ronnie can get a nice battered sausage around the Arsenal ground as well, son, just to calm you down afterwards. Oh, no, mate. But seriously, though, Ferg, it's the game we look forward to in the season. You know, it's the one we want to win. It's the one we want to win.
It is, and to be honest, a charity match for us. To be honest, if we had gone 9 games and then without conceding a goal, and then there was Spurs that scored the first goal against us in the 10th game, there'd be parties all down Stamford Hill and everything. Wouldn't there be open top buses all the way from Stamford Hill to Edmonton Angel? I expect, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they will, yeah. But they're not going to get anything out of the game. Come on, it's a team that finished 17th last season, pulled their eggs in one basket and won a cup. Credit to them, they won a cup, But then they sacked their manager, who's won them a cup. So you never make head nor tail of them, So actually, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm looking forward to it because I've not seen my friends for 2 weeks. I've not seen you, Dale, for 2 weeks. I've not seen you, Fergus, for 2 weeks. So the game, really, that's a given. I was just looking forward to seeing my mates. Yeah, all right, Ferg. I'm going to say it now. Just above Ferg's head is a box full of squares. If you click on that, it will take you to YouTube. So you can follow us and subscribe to us. Please do it, right? There's 2 reasons why I ask. Because it does allow us to do a little bit more, right? We probably earn another 2 or 3 pence a month as well. And it stops Fergus going on and on and on about it. So,
yeah. And if we get to 60 quid, I think we're at 27 quid. If we get to 60 quid, I'll buy the Guinnesses.
Yeah.
Or a whiskey for you.
Bad Ronnie's coming out.
Subscribe for that alone.
Already.
Excuses already. Are you Arnie Slot in disguise?
But don't worry, Ronnie. You've got Richarlison. Since when did we turn into a comedy show? We're all comedians on here tonight.
Right, I'm gonna press that button.
Could do it.
That video was taken by Lathe from the Gooner fanzine. So if you haven't got subscribe to the Gooner, get your Gooner.
Do you know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I'm going to do 1 week?
You can't look. It's my wife's birthday. I've got Chinese to go downstairs. So hurry up.
I'm going to sing North London Forever in my Elvis accent. Well, it's a North London forever, whatever the weather. These streets are our own. Yeah, I'm practicing for next week. Yeah,
right.
I'm ready to go. Ready.
Dale's run out of electricity. His lights turned off, so he's all in the dark now.
It's actually not. It's there. I don't know why it's.
Okay.
I don't get it.
Listen, it's my wife's birthday, so happy birthday, Jackie. I am going to leave you guys now. I thank 354 people who are now watching us in the live chat and on live feed. 290, 300 view on Twitter. Why don't you go across to YouTube and like and subscribe? Thank you very much. Go on, Trevor.
Yeah, listen. Everyone out there, right? I've put a post on X tonight, right? Just stirring them Liverpool fans up a bit because they've been very uncomplimentary today. So if you see me getting a bit of grief off them, give me a bit of backup on X, will you? Please help me out. I run out of ideas after a while. Oh God. Anyway, listen, right? Don't worry about drawing this weekend, Dale. Right? Don't worry about drawing this weekend, right? Because we're going to go on another run now, right? Going to have a week off. We've got 4 or 5 players coming back. The options are back, right? Ray has made probably the only mistake he's going to make all season. We're going to come back flying. Tottenham ain't going to know what's hit them. We're going to knock that chicken right off that beach ball.
Right, we won't be here on Friday again because there's no football over the weekend. We'll see if we can get something together for you for next Monday. Trevor might be able to work his magic and get some contacts. I'm working on something, but it's not working out at the moment. But we'll see if we can get something for you guys on Monday next week. But thanks very much, everybody. Up the Arsenal, Fox Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.